So glad you're here. I'm your co-host, Beyonce, and here's my other co-host,
Bert.
To get this meeting started, please stand, unmute yourself, and let's recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Dustin, please start sharing the screens.
I feel like.
All right, here we go.
Is that the bumblebee?
Not yet.
Ashley, can you give me the permission there?
Is that the bumblebee we're watching?
Not yet.
Are we gonna watch it soon?
Oh, here we go. Oh, did I do something?
All right, here we go. Live from the Beehive, as you heard, with your hosts.
No one did it, I guess. It was just on mute. They were on mute.
Oh.
Bert and Beyonce. This is BEEZ, Rotary After Hours News, where you learn what's the buzz. As Beyonce told us just a moment ago, we're starting with the Pledge of Allegiance. So here we go.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of
of the United States of America
and
and to the republic for which it stands,
one
one nation, under God, indivisible,
with
with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Beyonce and Bert, take it away.
Thanks, Dustin. We have a great program for you guys this evening, and we're glad that you're all here. I wanted to kick it over to the studio to hear from Morgan on our after-hour membership updates.
Okay, so we're currently at, 59 members, and we'd like to welcome our newest member, Emily Lowe. Not sure if she's on the call tonight or not, but otherwise, we currently don't have any Rotarians that have left for the month, which is good news. We do have quite a few potential new members in the works currently. One thing to keep in mind with the nice part with meetings being virtual, feel free to invite any coworkers or friends that you think might be a good fit for the club.
Thank you, Morgan. Speaking of honorary members and friends, Brandon, would you please introduce our guests and visitors?
Absolutely. So it looks like everyone looks familiar here except for Jason Barron. Would you mind giving us a short introduction, what club you're part of, and what you do for a living?
Sure. I'm Jason Barron with the Downtown Madison Club, the large one in our district. Currently 464 some members. So I was past president 2 Rotary years ago, and I'm on my second year serving on the district board as a member at large, and have seen Rotary Lights. Bill Hull took us on a tour this year, so I've been up there recently to check that out too. That's all.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Jason. We also have a sneaky guest who is with Amy Schmidt. We have Nancy Schmidt here. Nancy, would you give us a quick introduction?
Yeah, sure. I'm Amy's mom, Nancy Schmidt, and I belong to La Crosse Valley View Rotary. And I'm so happy that Amy's part of Rotary After Hours. I heard about the bees meeting tonight, and I thought, oh, that sounds like fun. I'd like to tune in. So glad to be here. Thanks for letting me be here with Amy.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being with us tonight. I do see, all right, there are a few other ones here that I'm seeing. They're a little sneaky here. So we've also got, Liz has a guest. She's got 2 guests, I think. Liz, do you want to introduce your guests or have your guests introduce themselves?
Hi, this is
Hello.
Eric's from downtown.
Hi.
Brought him along.
And me, Calvin.
Hey, Calvin.
Hey. Hey,
Look, there's the
Calvin, how's
bees.
it going? Are you excited to see the bees?
Where?
They're coming soon. Are you excited?
At a house?
No, honey. No.
They're gonna be on the screen.
You could send them to your house.
No, please.
And I do see one more, Karen Kendrick-Hands. Would you give an introduction, what club you're from and what you do for a living?
Hi, I'm Karen Kendrick-Hands from the Rotary Club of Madison downtown. Hi, Jason. And I am technically retired, but I'm also very active with the Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group, which I co-founded with the support of members in the Madison Club. And my adult son says, "Gee, Mom, when I retire, I hope I don't have to work as hard as you do."
You also saw her in the Rotarian magazine 2 months ago. She is an international writer and interviewee. She's a big deal in the Rotary world.
Very cool. Thanks for
Thanks for
joining
being
us
here
tonight, Karen.
Thank you, Bill. Well, so
we'll
is Bill. He's finally district governor. I'm so happy to see that.
After failing 6 or 7 times. Yeah, I finally got selected, I guess.
No, that's not the story I heard. Thank you for stepping up. I know you're going to have a great year. And
Thank
that
you.
means maybe we can have an environmental committee in District 6250. It would be lovely.
Maybe we can have an environmental club, have an entire Rotary club with cause based around environment.
That we got to talk, but not
Yeah.
on these other people's time. Thanks
Minneapolis,
for the intro.
St. Paul,
And
Minneapolis has got one. They're starting to pop up. I think there's at least a half dozen of them across the United States. So we can talk.
Yep. Yeah, super.
Very
Thanks.
cool. Well, thank you to all of our guests for being here, and we'll kick it back over to the bees because they're the bee's knees.
Beyonce,
Yeah, Bert, what's that?
what does a bee style their hair with?
I don't know, Bert, what?
A honeycomb.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh, don't worry, there's more.
I'm gonna mute myself so you don't hear the vomit come out.
It's gonna be luckily. I don't know what will.
They just get worse, don't worry.
Thank you. Next slide, Dustin. As you all heard in our first meeting, the theme of this year is Rotary Opportunity, or Rotary Opens Opportunities. And we are lucky to have Amy a part of our club, and she is going to share an opportunity that came to her and to the club through Rotary. So Amy, please take it away.
Yes, as many of you participated, you watched Shark Tank. You guys all voted for the Good Fight project with the van. Great news is that we were accepted for the district grant. So we now have the full $10,000 to move forward. So that I will be meeting with the Good Fight to start that. And Madeline will talk about our first project with the Good Fight later on.
Thank you, Amy. With that, I want to recognize that our members do great things every day. And so often as Rotarians, we're really humble about it. But in an effort to show our gratitude and appreciation towards extra efforts in advancing our club's mission and Rotary's mission, we'd like to celebrate a Rotarian each month that goes above and beyond. So for this month, we would like to honor, next slide please, Amy Schmidt as our Rotarian of the month. Amy joined Rotary After Hours in the spring of 2018, and she quickly found herself in the secretary line on our board of directors. And she's been engaged and just running full speed ahead ever since. She's really been engaged in board discussions, and she's had some really, really great ideas and brings a lot of organization to our members. She recently spearheaded the pitch for the Good Fight at our Shark Tank meeting. And she just shared the good news that we got the district grant approved. And that was because of her writing effort in that grant. She got other members engaged in the project, with Sarah and Dustin helping to pitch the project. And she's really led that collaborative effort. She's often present at many of our socials and our service events. And we really look forward to the partnership that she's going to help bridge with the Good Fight. So Amy, You're going to be receiving a Rotarian of the Month pin, and I'll give it to you tomorrow when I see you. Thank you for all that you do for After Hours and for Rotary, and I'm so glad your mom's here tonight. Josh, is there anything that you wanted to add?
No, I just would, I would reinforce everything Marissa said. Congratulations, Amy. We appreciate all that you do, and we're so glad that you're part of our club.
If anyone would like to nominate a name for a Rotarian of the Month that does a little extra, that goes above and beyond, we all do so much, but please send those names to me. We'd love to continue to recognize the member each month that gives that extra effort. So thank you, Amy.
Congrats, Amy.
Thank you. That makes me very happy. I'm happy my mom was here to see that.
Yeah.
Okay, next slide. Brianna, are you on? Okay, Brianna.
I am, yes. Yep, I'm here.
A recent board discussion recap from our last 2 board meetings.
Yep, so for board development, Marissa and Josh, they have almost completed the meetings with each board member and the outlining of their responsibilities. And then while the Avenues of Service has been canceled, we are planning on celebrating our nominees at an upcoming meeting because no word has been given on how or if those nominated that. And then for the Home and Service auction cakes, while we had originally planned to sponsor up to 2 tables for our members to attend the service auction, although it was then moved to virtual, so we then chose to sponsor by purchasing 2 of their cakes. So our members will get to enjoy these at a future in-person event, possibly at our 10-year celebration next spring. And also, thank you very much, Dustin, for emceeing the service.
I think I bought that cake last year, didn't I?
I think, did you buy it the first time or the second time, Bill?
I paid for it the second time.
It looks
but I bought
delicious.
it the first time. Yeah.
So if you have any questions about how delicious those cakes are, you can see that there's picture proof of how good they are.
Look how fat I got by doing that. See, that's what it was all about. The best part about it was who didn't get a chance to eat that cake originally.
We'll take a poll and see which flavors we want, the 2 flavors we want to order, but excited about those cakes from Judy McHugh from the Holman Club.
Hey, Beyonce, what do you call a wasp?
I don't know, Bert, what?
A wannabe?
Oh.
Okay, next slide, please.
I'm gonna vomit. Oh,
No, bees do that.
All right, Caitlin, please take it away and give us a recap of our latest service project, and then Brandon's going to talk about the dairy giveaway.
All right, so a couple weeks ago we had our July service event at Upper Hickson. We removed invasive species up at the Zare Prairie. It was really fun. We had an awesome turnout. As you can see our picture, it was gorgeous. And John Rigdon from Friends of the Blufflands said we did an awesome job. So it was really fun. I think we'll have a couple more of those events up at Hickson in the future. And then we have some upcoming events at the Parenting Place on August 3rd and August 10th. We need 4 total volunteers at each one. And we'll just be packaging diapers from their bulk form in 2 smaller packages for the people served by the Parenting Place. So I know we have a couple people signed up for each event already, so just a couple more volunteers are needed.
Thank you, Caitlin. Brandon, how was the June dairy giveaway, Christmas in July?
Christmas in July dairy giveaway was a big hit. We had a good group of Rotarians there for the 1 to 3 shift. And I think more were signed up for the 3 to 6 shift. But we gave away all of the merchandise by 2 o'clock. So we didn't even get to finish our shift. So there was definitely a in the community, and it was really cool to see the Rotary lights and Rotarians across the area. Some people from Task Force were there, and Prairie Farms to make this happen. We were able to give out a lot of dairy products. Each box had some milk in it, some chocolate milk, strawberry milk, cottage cheese, butter, I think. So it was a really great event in that we were able to help a lot of people out, I think.
Thank you, Brandon. Thank you to all the volunteers that came up to Hickson. As Caitlin said, it was a great night up in the woods. And thank you to all of those that volunteered at Christmas in July. Next, I want to kick it over to Madeline to talk about our upcoming backpack project.
All right, so I'm really excited about this project. It hits just a little bit close to home for me. So we are joining with the Valley View Rotary Club, not to be confused with the Valley View Mall. But we'll be partnering with them. They are doing their backpack assembling this Thursday. So a couple of us are going to swing by in hopes that media comes out so we can kind of broadcast this and advertise it, you know, for a larger population to be able to donate. And to donate, it's super easy. You can just go to rotaryafterhours.org. You click on the little ellipses in the corner and you literally just hit buy a backpack. And because we're not meeting in person and we don't have fees, you could consider this donation as a fee for a meeting. In 24 hours, once I started advertising this on social media, we were able to raise $700 in that short amount of time. We're at $775 right now, so I'm hoping that we can break 1,000 in the next couple of days. You know, children in the community, they don't have a voice. So you see all these advertisements for back to school shopping, and oftentimes kids are incredibly excited for that. You know, you get to pick out your cute supplies, a new backpack, and new clothes, but there are so many children in our community that are on very low incomes due to their parents' financial situations. So if we can help provide them with a gift to alleviate that stress for the entire year. I mean, with parents having financial stress, that bleeds right into the children. They you know, they experience that. They know what's going on. So if we can help in such a small increment, then, you know, more power to us to help our community and our children.
Thank you, Madeline. And we will have a backpack assembly night. It'll probably be in my driveway. I have 140 notebooks in my trunk right now, just the start of it, but we'll see how many backpacks we can put together with how much money we get raised. So please consider doing that and stay tuned for more information on packing the backpacks with school supplies. Caitlin already touched on this a little, but again, just a reminder, there's 2 nights to sign up for diaper packing. Masks are required. It's on site at the parenting place. Laura, would you please share more information about tomorrow night's Loggers game?
Yes. So tomorrow's the Loggers game. The gates open up at 5:30, not 5 p.m. So if you come at 5, the weather will be nice. You'll be fine. But 5:30 is when the gates open. When you show up, don't go to the main ticket gate. Go to the entrance that's back on Copeland. The person, our contact, will be back there. It is $20 a person. Steph will be the one that's collecting that money at the event tomorrow night, and then she'll give the loggers 1 ticket. It is a $10 discount from the normal cost. So $20 a person. You get 3 beverages and all you can eat food throughout the game. And as it says, we do have the upper deck all to ourselves. So we will have trusted Rotarians who are clean, healthy people next to us. Amy and I were already discussing straws and beers and masks and all of that good stuff. So feel free to bring a mask if that makes you feel more comfortable, but the weather should be great. And hope to see you tomorrow. If you have not RSVP'd yet, please either let me know or let Steph know via Facebook or through email. She did say that we'll have about 15 people. The loggers just wanted a head count. So if you have not RSVP'd via Facebook, please let me know and I will relay that information to Steph.
Thank you, Laura. Hope to see some of you tomorrow
You're welcome.
night. Is Emily on? Okay, I know she had, she said she
No,
was
she's
going to be
not.
in the boonies. So the leadership series is a Cooley Region Rotary project. So all area Rotarians are invited. This is going to be on the off month from STAR meetings. I'm really excited about who's joining for the first leadership series. It's the one and only Tom Thibodeau. He's going to be speaking on leadership and hope. He is one of the servant leadership professors at Viterbo, and I was lucky enough to take his class last fall, and it was life-changing. So I encourage you all to join for that leadership series. The Zoom link will be provided in the near future, but that's from 7 to 8 a.m. on Thursday, August 13th. To give you a Wheels of Hope project update, that district grant was also approved, so fundraising for that is up to $39,000. I'm sorry, $29,000. So it's in the final stretch, and of course, we as After Hours are a major contributor to that project. Really excited about an opportunity to hear Raja herself speak at Downtown Rotary on August 27th from 12 to 1 p.m. If you haven't heard her speak, and I know Bill can attest to this, Brandon, you probably can, Josh can, I know Jason, you can, you will be impacted and feel even better about us supporting the Wheels of Hope project and getting a bus for the girls in Afghanistan to get to school safely. So mark that on your calendar and hope to see you at Downtown Rotary on August 27th. As a reminder, there is an option to buy Rotary After Hours apparel. The link is on our private Facebook page. You'll also get more information in the Chronicle that will come out early August, but those orders are due, I believe, August 9th. And with that, I want to open it up to any other announcements that we may have forgotten. Does anybody have any announcements?
I've got one. So I'm going to give Beyonce a break. What, to the club, what kind of bee cannot be understood? Crickets, crickets, a mumblebee.
A mumblebee.
Thanks, Bert.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
All right, next slide, please. All right, I'm going to kick it back to our one and only Dustin Lukey to introduce our guest, Kathy Kendrick-Hands.
All right, thank you, Marissa. As we mentioned earlier, Kathy Kendrick-Hands is a great get for our club to be able to have her here with us tonight. So Karen, we thank you for being with us. She's a part of the Madison Downtown Club and founder of the Environmental Sustainability Rotarian Action Group. So Karen, if you could tell us a little bit about what a Rotary Action Group is, and particularly what is the Environmental Sustainability Rotarian Action Group?
Okay, Dustin, thanks for the opportunity. Hello, everyone. I'm amazed at the breadth of projects, and there's a couple I'd love to follow up on with you. So there are about 29 Rotary Action Groups, and unlike most of Rotary that is organized vertically from the club through the district and zone, to form an action group around a certain subject matter, you must find at least 50 people in 5 different countries. So it's designed to be broad-based and built around a passion and zeal in Rotarians to take action around a certain subject matter. It's not stuck in the hierarchy of your club and district. The RI board recently changed our name from Rotarian to Rotary Action Group in January. which I'm still trying to figure out why, except to make us reprint all of our banners and change our name with the bank and stuff. It's still the same people. The Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group came out of the Rotary Club of Madison, Wisconsin. We did some initiatives early on at the district level. I had the privilege of speaking to your club several years ago. I think it might have been 2016. And our job is to help Rotarians design big projects that cross district boundaries, that put multiple clubs together and get things done at a bigger scale than a single club could accomplish.
And Karen, how does that tie into Rotary's newest area of focus, being on the environment, and what that all means for Rotary International as a whole?
It is tremendously exciting to no longer be an action group that does not have an area of focus on which to act. I had the honor of speaking to the Environmental Issues Task Force in February as they were making their decision. They brought Jonathan Patz in from the UW system to talk about the implications of climate and health as they were deciding. And I got to remind them that Rotary has a deep history with the environment from the 1990 Preserve Planet Earth campaign. And of all places, I learned just this past week from a fellow Rotarian in Bangladesh that Paul Harris founded a conservation and hiking group in 1908. So we're now in the right direction. The trustees understand that this is the future of Rotary, and clubs like yours and the projects that you undertake, including the pollinators, which are coming up next, are vital for Rotary to be relevant in its projects and attractive to the next generation.
And sounds like relevant in its history as well. So Karen, just real quick, you saw some of the projects. I guess what advice do you have for us on our efforts that we've done locally, and how to continue and better that?
I'm thrilled to hear about your Wheels of Hope project to get Afghani girls to school. Empowering girls is actually an environmental strategy, because the longer girls stay in school, the later they start their families, and children born to older mothers survive better and will eventually bring the population down, which will give our planet a break. You're doing bees. I have a whole laundry list of project areas that ESRAG's doing, but that might require a return visit to your wonderful club. We do have a fair bit going on with pollinators. I'd like to tell everyone that tomorrow night at 6 p.m., the North American chapter of ESRAG members is having the first meeting of their pollinators team. So I'm going to put a bunch of this information in the chat. There's a counterpart group called Rotarians for Bees in Australia, and you might all want to sign up and participate in the Waggle Dance Challenge, especially that person cracking the jokes and wearing the bee sunglasses. We need her waggle. And the one, if I've got 30 more seconds, the signature project for ESRAG this year is going to be finding and fetching feral freon, helping round up obsolete CFCs, which are an intense global warming gas. We've teamed up with a group called Trade Water, and we've got one pilot that requires collecting freon from 60 cities. Lucky you, La Crosse is not on the first list. But if we work with this group globally and help round up the warming equivalent of 1 million tons of CO2 by collecting and destroying freon, they will pass $1 million bonus through ESRAG for the Rotary Foundation to fund the first round of environmental projects. So I'm gonna try to copy and paste some stuff in the chat team, and anyone is welcome to contact me later.
Well, we look forward to learning more about that and keeping an eye on what the ESRAG is doing. Karen, thank you so much. You're welcome back here with us anytime.
Well, thanks for making me feel so welcome. It's been terrific.
And as you may have seen in the Zoom chat just a moment ago, the Bees crew is getting ready for the main event. So I think right now we'll toss it back over to them.
Yes, thank you so much, Karen. We're back live at Bees TV. I've got Bert, and again, I'm Beyonce, and Bert, kick it away.
So here we are on site. We have our guest speaker, Dr. Cathy Schuman, who's going to tell us all about bees and the wonderful things that come from bees. So, Cathy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Can everybody hear? Thumbs up. Do we need to speak louder? We're good? Thumbs good?
Okay, we're good. So with bees, you guys are now focused on sustainability. And this is a really important fun fact. If our honeybees die, we will die because they pollinate 80% of the food that we eat and are responsible for 30% of the food that we eat. And if you guys look at the PowerPoint that got shared with you, you can see a picture of a grocery store with and without honeybees. And if you look at it, you'll see you don't want to live without honeybees. They are amazing little beings, and they pollinate everything in our environment. They are not native to the United States, but they were brought here in the 1600s. Yep, you can see we have two hives. We have a really strong hive over there, and then this is a normally strong hive. But we're going to go into this one because it's going to be a little less protective as we go in. And there are about 80,000 bees in each one of these hives.
Whoa.
And and so these bees, honeybees, were introduced to the United States in the 1600s. And they came here, what do you think, for what purpose? Why do you think they were brought here?
They were brought here for honey and candles.
For honey and candles, so they could bring light.
Mm-hmm.
And this is wax from these hives, and honey, so food for a sugar source. And so that's why they got brought here. And then through the course of the last couple of 100 years, they have actually shaped what plants, what flowering plants, shrubs, and trees, and our weeds that are actually here in the United States. Because if you look at the flowers we have, the ones that survived are the ones that were able to be pollinated by our bees. So they work collectively together with the environment. Bees are considered a superorganism. So as we open this up, there are about 80,000 bees in the hive. This is actually what we call a split from our other hive. So we took some of the bees when it got really strong, and they're going to come out. So these are all female bees, because of those 80,000 bees, do you guys know how many queens, if there's one or more queens in a hive?
I do not.
One queen.
One queen.
Because she's in charge, but she's not really, because they all work collaboratively. And then there are about 1,000 drones, are male bees, and all of the rest of the worker bees are female out of 80,000 bees. So the girls are the workers. And it's actually around this time of the year that all of these worker bees are starting to get rid of the male bees, because they have one purpose.
Oh, yes.
And they have no stinger, so they no guarding.
Okay.
They don't do any collection. Mm-hmm. They don't do anything to help with the hive other than they will bring their genetics forward with a queen. So how this works is when a queen is being bred, and I'll start with the queen and we'll go to the rest of the worker bees. Mm-hmm. If the queen in here is getting older, what they'll do is they'll make a special queen cup where the current queen will lay an egg.
Okay.
And they'll feed it specially so it turns into a queen.
Okay.
And she only takes about 18 days to actually come out, and then she'll be in the hive for about 24 hours. And then she'll go on something called her maiden flight. It's her only time leaving the hive. And in that one maiden flight, it might be one or two maiden flights, but once she's made her maiden flight, she will, during that flight, find this special like golden triangle up in the sky that we really don't know how they find. And the drones, the male bees, will be there waiting, and she breeds with anywhere from 12 to 18 male bees. And when they breed, she takes all of their sperm and then they die in the process.
Whoa.
And so then she comes.
Sounds like fun.
It's not, yeah, it's hard to be a male bee.
Yeah,
but you
it
have the
sounds
life
like
of luxury while you
Well,
live.
yeah,
You don't have to do anything.
You sound like a layabout that, sorry there, Bee.
Yeah. And so what happens is she then comes back to the hive and she does not leave the hive again.
Okay.
So she's in here and she's actually down here in this first or second box. These are considered our brood boxes.
Okay.
And then there's a queen excluder, which keeps her from going up there and laying eggs.
Okay.
And these are considered honey boxes.
Okay.
So this was a brand new hive 2 months ago, actually. And so we're just going to take a peek and see how much honey they have put in this hive.
Excellent.
Which is kind of interesting. And you can see how it builds out. Oh, wow.
Wow. That's a lot of honey. Whoa.
Whoops, that's okay. So this, they've drawn all of this out, all of this wax. There was no wax in any of these. And you can kind of peek down in here if you want. There were all of these were just frames. And they've built all of this wax out. And then what they do is they take the nectar that they collect from the flowers. They, with their enzymes in their honey belly, create honey. And then that one right there is depositing some honey in there. And then they use their wings to get it at just the right hydration level. And when it is just the right hydration level, they cap it, which is what this is. And that keeps honey good forever. As long as you keep honey clear from the humidity and moisture in the air, honey will stay good forever. And they've even found it like in the tombs of pharaohs that are hundreds of years old, and it's still good honey. So these are all female worker bees, and those guys are talking. Oh no, they're transferring honey, which is really interesting.
That's cool.
You can kind of see it. And now that one's probably going to go deposit that honey somewhere. And this one's depositing some honey right here. You can see them with their heads in there. They're all depositing honey when they have their heads in like that. So let's go down and see what we can find. So this is honey. These are all frames of honey. And they have worked pretty quickly to do this. It takes, every time the bees go out, and I'm just going to take this off because we're going to go down a little bit deeper. And I have a special system in here, so you can feel this if you want. Just pick it up. Take it where I have it. That's all honey.
Oh, that is heavy.
That
is heavy.
He almost dropped it, folks.
I did not, but I didn't. Almost isn't didn't.
So I have a special set of gauges in my hive, so I can tell what the humidity and temperature is in my honey box, so I can see how much moisture there is. And then I can also tell that in my brood box. And once again, so remember, this hive is only 60 days old. And I'll do this frame instead.
How old is your other hive?
That one overwintered. So
Okay.
that one's been around since, it's been around for a couple of years.
Okay.
But this one, I took 8 frames of brood and some honey, and I pulled it over here and put another queen in it just about 60 days ago. You can read that. And so look, here's another complete frame of honey.
Wow.
So
look at all that.
And that one's almost completely, so that I can harvest. So it's almost complete. They consider when it's 80% capped, you can go ahead and harvest it. If you harvest it before it's capped, it ferments.
Oh.
And then it's no longer good, or it turns into a kind of an alcohol. But unless you make it into a special thing like mead or something good, it won't taste necessarily all that good.
So how do you go about harvesting? You know, it looks pretty solid.
So it's actually, look, we can.
Oh,
it's pretty simple.
Wow.
Look at that.
So once you uncap it, it just drips right out.
Drips right out. And look, they're
Very
gonna
cool.
come.
And they're gonna go cap it.
They're
right
gonna
away.
come save that.
They're like, who did this?
They're like, who messed with our honey?
Somebody left the cap off.
Yep. So that's exactly, and then they'll add on here. You can see this is a little low. When they get some more honey, they'll just add on and fill this all out. So they've really been productive, and I probably am gonna go in this weekend and harvest some honey.
Okay, excellent.
Because I essentially have 2 boxes of capped frames of honey.
So far, no bees have landed on me, so we're doing good.
You just jinxed yourself.
Well, so this is all the honey.
Okay.
Now we're going to go down into the brood boxes. So this is down where the queen will be. And they have, okay, so you see me kind of struggling to get this. This is another really heavy box.
Okay.
But if they stick it together with
Whoa.
something called focus. And propolis is the only product in the hive
So
they don't
cool.
make. Yep. We're gonna open this up.
Okay. So that's the queen guard, this metal.
This keeps the queen from going upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And so propolis, this kind of darker stuff at the edges,
Mm-hmm.
it's got an antibacterial property that they get from trees. It's something trees make when they're not doing well. And they bring it in because it's antibacterial. And it also insulates the hive.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So now you're going to see that there might be some honey on the edges of frames, but there's not going to be honey in the center because these should be some brood frames. And so you're going to kind of see what beads look like. It's kind of late in the day, but we might even see one being born. So let's see what we got in here.
Oh.
So this is the brood.
Some serious bees.
So they have started to put honey in here because we had a big honey season.
Yeah.
And so they're filling this. So we're going to go down and look for some.
Could you get the other side of this? Because the other side is just like covered
with bees.
Oh yeah, look at all that.
Oh my God.
So these are all girls, and you can see how gentle they are.
Mm-hmm.
They could care less. You know, sometimes people smoke their honeybees a lot, and they don't need to, because when you smoke honeybees, what you're telling them is forest fire,
Mm-hmm.
run in and take as much honey as you can and leave the hive.
Mm-hmm.
And so they do that. So this is a male bee right here. See how big it is?
Yeah.
In comparison, and the eyes are so much bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And the eyes are so much bigger, and that's so that they can find the queen up in the sky versus the girls, that they're so much smaller. Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm. It's crazy to think there's 8,000 bees in there. I mean, they're just jam-packed. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How you guys doing from the club side? Are you seeing all this? Is it looking pretty interesting?
Are there any questions? So there are three kinds of bees. Like I said, there are the worker bees. They live anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks in the summer. So they have a fairly short life cycle. Then there are the drones. And they actually take 24 days to hatch, the longest. But they only live in the summer. And then in the fall, the girls will kick them out. So it looks like they have decided they didn't have enough room. So I do need to harvest honey because they have taken this top brood box and made it into a honey box. You can see it glistening.
Mm-hmm.
And because you can see it's darker, it used to be
Kind of like the edges where it's more of a tan.
And look, this one has pollen on its feet. See it right there.
Oh yeah. Yep, the little balls.
Uh-huh. And kind of made bee bread, which is what they take pollen and honey and they store it for winter. All right, so I'm gonna go down to the other box and you're gonna see they're gonna get a little more excited now because the queen could be up here, and if she's up here, they're not gonna be happy that I've separated her.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna go down to this bottom box. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, now they're getting excited.
That's because I moved them a little bit.
Okay.
So they'll initially, and this box is much lighter if you feel it.
Oh yeah.
You did better. You did better, guys.
I'm glad my lifting skills are being tested.
Okay, so let's see if we've got some brood down here. That's what we want to find, some brood down here.
I mean, there's a lot of bees swarming around us right now.
Yes. The buzzing is getting louder by the second.
And so I've already given them instructions, don't swat at the bees, because bees will just buzz around you and they may even ping the top of your head, but they won't sting you.
Yep, they're bouncing into me.
Yep. But they won't sting you unless you swat at them. Okay.
I don't know how you guys can hear on the camera, but we're not hearing much else besides buzzing right now. It's pretty cool.
Kathy, I think on your PowerPoint I read that they buzz, or their wings go around 200
beats per
second.
Yeah.
Which is what that buzzing sound
Yes. You
creates.
got it. It's
Or
kind
what
of
creates the buzzing
amazing.
sound.
Yeah. Okay. So they are putting away some bee bread. And here is a male bee. You can cut these are male, these slightly bigger ones, those are male bees. And the rest of these are that's a male bee. And it would be highly unlikely. So I did something to my bees a couple of weeks ago, and it looks like she did not lay after that, but we will see what will happen. And I'm just gonna peek in here because I do not have, and I didn't go in this weekend, so I didn't get to look at it, but I do not have a bunch of brood, which is kind of not great. But I have a strong hive, so I'm hoping she's in here and okay.
How do you get a queen bee?
So they breed them. Yeah, they've got honey in here too. So this is what they do. They do bearding. They do bearding, and so they'll kind of hang from each other. And I'll put this back together. But if we got a male bee, you could actually hold it. So let's see. It takes the entire life, and we're going to put this back together a little bit. It takes the entire life of 12 bees to make 1 teaspoon of honey. Wow. So when you do a little drop of honey, you want to think about, do I really want to waste that? Or do I want to lick it up? Take my finger and lick it up. So this is kind of a cool thing about bees. They'll get out of the way because they don't want to die. So if you just gently put stuff down, they'll move out of the way.
Oh yeah.
And they just get out. And so that's a good way to be with our honeybees. Nice and gentle and slow. And then they'll calm down pretty quickly.
And they don't fly away, they stay close to the hives here?
They know that this is their hive, and they won't even go into that other hive.
Oh, interesting.
Because they know that if they go in there, they will get attacked because they don't have the smell of that hive.
I wish everybody could be here in person to experience this right now, but
smell it.
It's pretty incredible.
So each one of these girls has a stinger, and you can see they haven't even tried to sting it.
No.
Because they don't want to sting you. I got it. Yeah.
Okay.
They don't want to sting because if they sting you, they die. And they may buzz around you for about 2 more minutes, but they can't re-sting you. So if you've ever gotten stung by one, you don't have to continue to be scared of it. It's done. And if you do get stung, what you want to do is just with a sharp edge, flick the stinger out. Because if you pinch it, you're pinching all of the poison or the venom into you, and then you'll have the bigger reaction to it.
Okay.
So honeybees, favorite thing is the honey, and you get to eat it every day. Stays good forever. And if you're interested in beekeeping, we have a great beekeeping group here in La Crosse, and you can help to create the sustainability in our environment.
Awesome.
Any questions?
Yeah, let's take some questions from the club. Rotarians, what questions do you have for Kathy?
I have a question. How many bee farms are in the La Crosse area? Like, is there a lot, or is it more just people with backyard hives?
Well, that's a really good question. Commercial beekeeping has become smaller and smaller, kind of like olive farming, monocrops, farmers have become bigger and bigger. So there are some very large beekeepers, but they have become farther between and fewer of them. So now the movement is towards backyard beekeeping like this. So in the city of La Crosse, you can have up to 2 hives. You have to get the license through the city, and they started that. I happen to have the first license in the city of La Crosse because they did it after I moved here. So within the last 5 years, they've created that. And anybody can do it. If you're outside of here, you just have to check the ordinances for where you live. But I don't know the exact number because nobody manages the number.
Other questions?
There's a question from Alyssa. Are there issues keeping bees near crop fields due to pesticides?
Yes, so I didn't really get into that. There are 5 factors that really impact colony collapse, and one of them is pesticides. We also do it in our yard. So if you cannot use pesticides that will harm insects or treat plants that systemically go up and treat them, it would be really helpful. It's one of the reasons why we consider colony collapse happening.
Any other questions?
Yeah, do you have any good resources to find ways to take care of like Japanese beetles so that I can protect my plants, but also protect the bees?
hey, you know, I'm a gardener, but I don't have Japanese beetles, so I've not figured out how to master taking care of them. That would be a great question to reach out to our master gardeners in La Crosse, and you can contact them through the county.
Great, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for visiting me in my backyard and meeting the 80,000 girls in this hive and all of the honey that they have produced.
Well, thank you very much, Kathy. We so appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule and introducing us to all of your wonderful bees and telling us a little bit about the bees and the challenges out there as they continue to grow. I mean, lots of honey. If someone was interested in purchasing some fresh honey, how do they go about doing that?
Well, you know what? There is a lovely beekeeper who is a member of the downtown Rotary group, and she sells at the farm. She and her husband sell at the farmer's market. And so that's where I would go.
Okay.
You want to make sure you're getting raw honey that's not processed. It's difficult to get not processed honey in the grocery store, so you can get it at the co-op or the farmer's market or local. So that would be a great way to support your local beekeepers. And then also not using pesticides. Those are my messages, right? Don't use pesticides in your garden and buy local raw honey from your local beekeepers to support them.
Awesome. We very much appreciate how welcome you've made both Marissa and I, and we're so grateful to kind of get this hands-on view of the bees. I mean, it's such a cool experience versus just kind of hearing about it via PowerPoint and stuff like that. But we have the PowerPoint, we share it with the club, and it's just been a wonderful experience kind of learning more about bees. So thank you.
Thank you.
Again. So, and if anybody has questions of La Crosse area beekeepers,
you can give out my information. I'd be happy to also answer or take any questions that people have.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna move our way back over to the to our other. We're gonna move away from the bees.
Yes, we're gonna get some space. We're gonna take off our wonderful hats and.
Oh yeah,
All
and we
right.
need to get a picture, Josh, at
Yes.
some point.
You are bee free, Marissa.
I'm bee free.
Am I
All
bee
right.
free?
I think so.
But we'll find out.
All right, so in closing, I still have my bee hat on. I'm sorry. It'd probably be more detrimental to take it off at this point. In closing, the Loggers game is tomorrow. Just as a reminder of that, hope to see some of you there. And our next club meeting is the one and only Bill Pritchard visiting us as our District 6250 governor. Some of you have probably heard Bill speak, but I have four meetings that stick out to me that left an impression on me, and one of them was Bill when he spoke to our club a couple years ago. So I hope you'll all join for that meeting on August 11th. We'll for sure have a Zoom component, possibly have an outdoor location for those that want to come out and meet and gather social distance style. But look forward to having Bill on August 11th. If there are any guests that would like to stay on after the meeting, there are some Rotarians that will stay on and answer any questions, or if you have any comments, or any members that want to stay on too, you're welcome to stay on as well. But with that, unless there's any, I'll give one final call out. Are there any additional announcements anybody thought of?
I just want to say thank you to Beyonce and Bert for braving the bees. It was really nice to be able to see you guys there in person and have that actual interaction. So thank you for being so brave.
This was really cool. This was really cool. You guys did a great job.
Thanks.
I
I never thought I would be so excited about honeybees, and I just got to grab something quick because my mom, and I brought this and showed Kathy, I went to see my mom the other day, and she gets Us Weekly, and her comment was, I didn't know Ellen was not very friendly. Anyway, so I was flipping through the magazine, and on page 21, it says, high five, beekeeping. It's the buzziest hobby in Hollywood. David Beckham turns his new pastime into a family affair with his kids. Beekeep like Beckham, Carrie Underwood, and Mike Fisher suit up for a day at the honey farm. James Middleton and Zac Efron. So be the change. You know, they're so important to our ecosystem, and I just have a whole new appreciation for honeybees. So I'm so grateful for Cathy to let us into her backyard and her little flying friends. So with that, is there any other closing comments? If not, I'll ask you all to unmute and stand, and we will recite the new 5-way test. Is it the truth?
Is this
Fair to all
we're all concerned?
Will it build
Will it build
goodwill?
goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all?
Will it be beneficial
Will
to
it
all
be
concerned?
fun?
Will it be fun?
Will it be fun? That was beautiful. Harmony.
Thank you,
Many
everybody.
parts.
Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
A reminder, if anybody wants to stay on, we'll leave it going for a couple minutes here.
Marissa,